Welcome to Ancient Conspiracy Files. I'm your host, Ben Carter. Across the arid sands of Saudi Arabia, a mountain range looms, its jagged peaks cutting a stark silhouette against the sky. One peak stands out from the rest, its blackened summit a stark contrast to the surrounding beige terrain. This is Jebel al-Lawz, and some believe it holds a secret that could rewrite biblical history. A curious anomaly of nature, the apex of this mountain is charred black, as if singed by a tremendous heat. But scientists have confirmed the blackening isn't caused by any known volcanic activity. Instead, it's a type of rock patina that can only occur at incredibly high temperatures, far beyond any natural heat source in the region. This has led some to wonder if this mountain has been touched not by natural forces, but by divine. Jebel al-Lawz is located in a region of Saudi Arabia that's largely prohibited to foreign visitors. This has only added to the secrecy and speculation surrounding this enigmatic mountain. And the mystery deepens when considering the strange archaeological anomalies scattered around its base. At the foot of the mountain, a collection of stone structures and carvings have been discovered, their purpose and origins obscured by the sands of time. Among these, a stone altar featuring a crude etching of a calf, seemingly mirroring the tale of the golden calf from the Book of Exodus. Nearby, a set of ancient stone columns, eerily reminiscent of the biblical description of Moses' altar and the 12 pillars representing the 12 tribes of Israel. When we delve into the works of amateur archaeologist Ron Wyatt, the mystery thickens. Wyatt claimed to have found the remains of a split rock near the base of Jebel al-Lawz, with evidence of water erosion in an area where water is scarce. Could this be the biblical rock that Moses struck to produce water? These intriguing clues have led some researchers, explorers, and believers to posit that Jebel al-Lawz is none other than the biblical Mount Sinai, where Moses received the 10 Commandments from God. Could this forbidden mountain in Saudi Arabia be the true location of one of the most sacred sites in religious history? The stringent restrictions on exploration and archaeological study in the region have only served to fuel these speculations. Yet despite the captivating evidence and the allure of the mystery, the Jebel al-Lawz theory is not widely accepted within the scholarly community. The traditional location of Mount Sinai in the southern part of Egypt's Sinai Peninsula is deeply ingrained in religious tradition and archaeological consensus. But this doesn't deter those who are convinced that the real Mount Sinai is hidden and fiercely guarded in the desolate landscapes of Saudi Arabia. As we delve deeper into this mystery, we find ourselves treading a fine line between faith and fact, between accepted knowledge and forbidden secrets. Every stone unearthed, every theory posited, only adds to the enigma of Mount Sinai, a mystery that has endured for millennia and continues to fascinate and bewilder us to this day. To better understand the layers of mystery surrounding Mount Sinai, we must first cast ourselves back in time, to an era when the world was steeped in myth and mysticism. We journey to the cradle of civilization, the ancient Near East, where the desert landscapes and craggy mountains witnessed the birth of some of the most enduring stories in human history. This was a time of great change and upheaval. The Bronze Age was giving way to the Iron Age. Old empires were crumbling, and new ones were rising from their ashes. The people of this era lived in a world where the divine and the earthly intertwined, where gods walked among men, and where every rock, tree, and river held a spirit or a deity. It was also a time of technological advancements, a period that saw the advent of iron tools and weapons, the development of writing systems, and the construction of monumental architectures. Yet in spite of these leaps in technology, the people's lives were deeply rooted in tradition and folklore. The stories they told, the rituals they performed, the gods they worshipped, all were bound by the threads of their ancient heritage. In this context, the story of Moses and Mount Sinai takes on a deeper significance. It was not merely a story of divine revelation, but also a narrative of liberation and nation-building. It was a tale that resonated with the people's struggles against oppression and their yearning for a homeland. The mountain, therefore, was not just a geographical feature, but a symbol of divine protection and covenant. The mythology surrounding Mount Sinai was as multifaceted as the culture that birthed it. It was believed to be the place where heaven touched earth, where the voice of God thundered, and where the law was given to mankind. It was a sacred space, a liminal zone between the human and the divine. Yet, the exact location of this holy mountain remained elusive. The biblical texts provided only vague descriptions, and over time, various theories and interpretations emerged. Some pointed to the Sinai Peninsula, others to northwestern Saudi Arabia, and still others to southern Jordan. Each theory was backed by compelling arguments and tantalizing clues, yet none could provide conclusive evidence. The mystery of Mount Sinai, therefore, is not just a quest for a physical location. It is a journey into the heart of an ancient civilization, a window into a time when myth and reality were inseparable, and a reminder of our timeless fascination with the divine. As we continue to explore this enigma, we are not only tracing the footsteps of Moses, but also retracing the paths of countless seekers who have embarked on this quest for the sacred mountain. The quest for the true Mount Sinai has drawn a diverse array of seekers, from biblical scholars and archaeologists to explorers and adventurers. Each of these individuals has contributed to the rich tapestry of theories, conjectures, and discoveries that continue to fuel this enduring mystery. Let's consider a few key figures, texts, and discoveries that have shaped our understanding of Mount Sinai. One such figure is Egeria, a 4th-century Christian woman from Western Europe who made a pilgrimage to the Holy Land. Her meticulous travel diaries include one of the earliest known descriptions of a site identified as Mount Sinai, presumably located in the southern part of the Sinai Peninsula. Egeria's account, filled with vivid descriptions of monastic life and liturgical practices, provides a fascinating glimpse into early Christian devotion and pilgrimage. Fast forward to the 19th century, explorers like Charles Bake and F.W. Holland challenged the traditional location of Mount Sinai in the Sinai Peninsula, suggesting instead that the mountain was in northwestern Saudi Arabia. Bake's theory was based on his interpretation of biblical texts, while Holland's was backed by his fieldwork in the region. Both theories, although controversial, added new dimensions to the debate, expanding the geographical landscape of the search and introducing new possibilities. More recently, American explorer Bob Cornuke has claimed to have discovered the real Mount Sinai in northwestern Saudi Arabia. His findings, based on a blend of biblical interpretation and on-the-ground exploration, have attracted both interest and criticism. Cornuke's approach, often described as biblical archaeology, relies heavily on literal readings of biblical texts, an approach that traditional archaeologists often regard as problematic. Then there are the ancient texts and artifacts like the Dead Sea Scrolls and the Nabatean inscriptions, which offer tantalizing clues about the sacred mountain. The Dead Sea Scrolls, discovered in the mid-20th century, contain some of the earliest known copies of the Hebrew Bible, including passages that describe the Exodus and the Revelation at Mount Sinai. While these texts do not reveal the mountain's exact location, they provide invaluable insights into the beliefs and practices of the communities that revered it. Similarly, the Nabatean inscriptions, found in the deserts of southern Jordan, suggest a possible connection between the nomadic Nabateans and the biblical Israelites. Some scholars speculate that these inscriptions may point to a southern Jordan location for Mount Sinai. These are just a few of the myriad voices that have contributed to the ongoing search for Mount Sinai. Each brings a unique perspective, a distinct methodology, and a shared passion for uncovering the secrets of the past. As the quest continues, new discoveries may yet emerge, adding fresh layers to this ancient enigma. The theory of Mount Sinai's true location being hidden and heavily guarded in northwestern Saudi Arabia is not without its contradictions and anomalies. It is an assertion that sits at odds with mainstream historical interpretations and timelines, and yet its proponents insist on its validity, evoking a sense of intrigue and controversy. One of the core elements of this theory is the discrepancy between geographical descriptions in the biblical accounts of the Exodus and the accepted location of Mount Sinai in the Sinai Peninsula. The Bible describes the Israelites crossing a body of water, traditionally interpreted as the Red Sea, before reaching Mount Sinai. However, the Red Sea doesn't border the Sinai Peninsula, suggesting that the traditional location may be incorrect. Proponents of the Saudi Arabian location assert that the Red Sea's crossing refers to the Gulf of Aqaba, which does indeed border northwestern Saudi Arabia. Another anomaly relates to the mountain's physical characteristics as described in biblical texts. These descriptions include a high peak, a large plain in front of the mountain for the Israelites to camp, and a cave on the mountain where Moses received the Ten Commandments. Critics argue that the traditional Sinai Peninsula location doesn't align with these descriptions, while the proposed Saudi Arabian location, specifically Jebel al-Lawz, does. Perhaps the most compelling aspect of this theory is the existence of unexplained archaeological anomalies in the vicinity of Jebel al-Lawz. These include ancient rock inscriptions of what appear to be Hebrew symbols and imagery, a large split rock with evidence of water erosion in a desert, and an altar with petroglyphs of bovine figures, reminiscent of the golden calf mentioned in the Exodus story. The most controversial and indeed clandestine aspect of this theory pertains to the purported heavy security guarding Jebel al-Lawz. Those who have ventured there describe encountering military patrols and barbed wire fences, with photography and unauthorized access strictly forbidden. These accounts have fueled speculation that Saudi Arabian authorities are aware of the site's potential significance and are guarding it accordingly. However, the guarded nature of the site also prevents independent verification of these claims, leaving them in the realm of speculation. Furthermore, mainstream researchers and archaeologists object to these theories, citing lack of solid archaeological evidence, questionable interpretation of biblical texts, and the problematic nature of literal biblical archaeology. Despite these objections, the theory persists, adding another layer of mystery to the enduring quest for the real Mount Sinai. In order to delve deeper into this mystery, let's consider the scientific and archaeological evidence that may support the theory of Jebel al-Lawz being the real Mount Sinai. Multiple aspects come into play here: carbon dating, celestial alignments, and unexplained architecture, to name a few. Firstly, let's discuss carbon dating. This method is often used to date ancient organic materials. While it is difficult to carbon date stone structures, it can be used to date organic remnants found at the site. A handful of dates have purportedly been obtained from charcoal found at Jebel al-Lawz. Although these dates have not been publicly released, some suggest they align with the estimated timeline of the Exodus, bolstering the claim of this site as the biblical Mount Sinai. Unexplained architecture is another factor worth considering. The petroglyphs of bovine figures found on an altar at Jebel al-Lawz could be indicative of the golden calf idol mentioned in the Exodus story. Similarly, the large split rock at the site, showing signs of water erosion in its crevices, strangely aligns with the biblical account of water gushing out from a rock after being struck by Moses' staff. The celestial alignments at the site also provide an interesting perspective. Certain proponents of the Jebel al-Lawz theory assert that the mountain's peak aligns with specific celestial bodies during key times of the year, suggesting a possible religious or ceremonial significance. However, these alignments are yet to be scientifically validated, and their interpretation remains subject to debate. In relation to genetic clues, some argue that the presence of the Midianites, a tribe mentioned in the Bible, in the northwestern region of Saudi Arabia during the presumed time of the Exodus, might indicate that the Israelites were in this area. However, genetic evidence linking the Midianites to the Israelites is tenuous at best, and the connection remains largely speculative. Another intriguing element is the existence of out-of-place artifacts. For example, the blackened peak of Jebel al-Lawz has been interpreted by some as evidence of the divine fire described in Exodus, though geologists argue it is a natural occurrence related to the volcanic origins of the mountain. It's important to note that the archaeological evidence presented here is contentious and not widely accepted within the mainstream scientific community. While some view these anomalies as tantalizing clues pointing to Jebel al-Lawz as the real Mount Sinai, skeptics caution against hasty conclusions. They argue that more rigorous scientific investigation is needed to validate or refute these claims. In the absence of such investigation, these theories remain shrouded in uncertainty, adding another chapter to the enduring mystery of Mount Sinai's true location. The response from mainstream historians and archaeologists to the Jebel al-Lawz theory has been largely dismissive. Many have expressed skepticism towards the idea that Jebel al-Lawz is the real Mount Sinai, primarily due to the lack of corroborating archaeological evidence. This skepticism has often led to a reluctance among academic institutions to engage with or fund further research into this theory. One of the prevailing reasons for this dismissal lies in the methodological approach of those promoting the Jebel al-Lawz theory. Critics argue that their interpretation of the evidence is grounded more in religious beliefs and literal readings of biblical texts than in rigorous archaeological practice. This, they argue, undermines the scientific credibility of the claims being made. This dismissal, however, has led to allegations of institutional denial and academic suppression. Some proponents of the Jebel al-Lawz theory believe that the mainstream academic community is resistant to entertain their ideas due to a perceived threat to established historical narratives. They argue that there is an unwillingness among some scholars to challenge conventional wisdom or to consider alternative perspectives that might disrupt long-held beliefs. These allegations have been further exacerbated by the actions of the Saudi Arabian government. For years, the Saudi authorities have restricted access to Jebel al-Lawz and have reportedly gone as far as to erect a military base near the site, preventing any unauthorized exploration or excavation. This has fueled speculation that the Saudi government is actively suppressing evidence that could potentially validate the Jebel al-Lawz theory. However, critics argue that the claims of suppression and censorship are unfounded and serve only to discredit the academic community. They maintain that the resistance to the Jebel al-Lawz theory is not a result of academic bias or government conspiracy, but rather a reflection of the theory's lack of empirical evidence and its reliance on speculative interpretations. Regardless of this ongoing debate, the question remains: why is there such a significant divide between proponents of the Jebel al-Lawz theory and the mainstream academic community? Is it simply a matter of differing methodologies and interpretations of evidence? Or is there a deeper issue of institutional denial at play? The answers to these questions may well lie in the heart of the academic battle over the real location of Mount Sinai, a battle that continues to be waged with no clear end in sight. At the heart of this debate, beneath the accusations of suppression and the schism between faith-based and empirical research, lies a profound question about the nature of divine encounters and the intersection of myth and history. The potential discovery of the real Mount Sinai could have far-reaching implications in our understanding of ancient beliefs and humanity's forgotten past. If Jebel al-Lawz is indeed the biblical Mount Sinai, it would imply that certain events and encounters described in religious texts might have been grounded in historical reality. The implications extend beyond affirming the location of a religiously significant site. The Jebel al-Lawz theory touches upon the fascinating concept of gods as aliens, the idea that manifestations of divine power in ancient texts could be interpreted as encounters with technologically advanced beings. The burning bush witnessed by Moses, the pillar of fire and smoke that guided the Israelites, even the 10 Commandments inscribed on stone tablets. Could these have been interactions with a superior, non-human intelligence? This theory, while speculative, finds resonance in the field of ancient astronaut hypotheses, which suggests that extraterrestrial beings visited Earth in antiquity and significantly influenced the development of human civilizations. The Jebel al-Lawz site, with its reported anomalies, such as the scorched mountaintop and the presence of a large, mysterious monolithic structure nearby, lends itself to interpretation through this lens. However, it is essential to tread carefully here. Such interpretations can be easily dismissed as fringe beliefs or pseudoscience, yet they reflect a broader human yearning to connect and find meaning in our ancient past. They represent an alternative approach to understanding the divine and the supernatural, grounded not in blind faith or dogma, but in the exploration of possibilities hidden within our shared human narrative. These theories also challenge our perception of history and the past. They suggest that there may be layers of meaning and truth that have been forgotten or obscured over time. They prompt us to question the narratives we have been told and to seek out the hidden, the suppressed, the secret, and the forbidden. They encourage us to consider the possibility that human history might be far more complex and mysterious than we have previously imagined. The search for the real Mount Sinai, therefore, is not merely an archaeological quest or a religious pilgrimage. It is a journey into the heart of our collective past, a quest to uncover the forgotten layers of human history, and an exploration of the enduring mystery of divine encounters. The implications are profound, touching upon the very nature of faith, history, and humanity's place in the cosmos. In the age of the Internet, theories like these find a second life and a wider audience. Websites, online forums, and social media platforms have become the modern marketplace of ideas. The theory of Mount Sinai's hidden location is no exception and has found a new lease of life in the digital age. One of the most prominent platforms for these discussions is YouTube. Numerous channels are dedicated to exploring this topic, with videos amassing millions of views. These videos often incorporate dramatic imagery, historical evidence, and compelling narratives to present the theory of a hidden Mount Sinai, thus capturing the imagination of a global audience. Documentaries, too, have played a significant role in the resurgence of this theory. Notable among these is the film The Exodus Revealed: Search for the Red Sea Crossing. This documentary presents a detailed examination of the evidence supporting the idea that Jebel al-Lawz is the real Mount Sinai. The film's creators journeyed to the site, braved the harsh conditions, and risked legal consequences to capture footage of the alleged biblical landmarks. Online forums and websites devoted to conspiracy theories have also become hotbeds for discussions about the hidden Mount Sinai. These platforms bring together individuals with a shared interest in unraveling the mysteries of the past. Through discussion and debate, they delve into intricate details, examining every shred of evidence and exploring all possible interpretations. In the realm of literature, books like The Gold of Exodus, The Discovery of the True Mount Sinai by Howard Bloom have brought attention to the theory. Bloom's book, published in 1998, tells the story of two explorers who claim to have discovered the true Mount Sinai in Saudi Arabia. The book combines elements of adventure, history, and mystery, making the theory accessible to a wide range of readers. This revival in popular culture has undoubtedly shaped public perception. The idea of a hidden Mount Sinai, once relegated to the fringes, has entered mainstream discourse. It has prompted many to question traditional narratives and consider alternative perspectives. More significantly, it has ignited a spark of curiosity, a desire to seek out the truth hidden beneath centuries of history and tradition. But, as with all such theories, it is important to approach with a discerning mind. While the idea of a hidden and guarded Mount Sinai is tantalizing, it is crucial to remember that the evidence is yet to be fully substantiated. Nevertheless, the journey to uncover this ancient mystery continues, and with it, our quest to understand our collective past and the divine encounters that shaped it. As we delve further into the realm of the esoteric, we encounter theories that stretch the boundaries of conventional understanding. One such concept suggests that the real Mount Sinai is not merely a physical location, but a dimensional portal to other realms. This idea is rooted in the belief that Mount Sinai, as the site of divine revelation, is a nexus of cosmic energy. Proponents suggest that the supernatural events described in the Bible, like the burning bush and the descending cloud, were not miracles, but manifestations of advanced technologies or interdimensional activity. According to this theory, the pillar of cloud and fire that led the Israelites through the desert could have been an advanced spacecraft. The Ten Commandments, inscribed by the finger of God on stone tablets, might be a metaphor for a process involving lost technologies that we are yet to comprehend. Supporters of these ideas point to the descriptions of Mount Sinai trembling violently and being covered by smoke, comparing it to the launch or landing of a spacecraft. They also highlight the loud trumpet sounds heard by the Israelites, likening it to sonic booms produced by high-speed aircraft. Another radical interpretation suggests that the guardians of Mount Sinai might not be of human origin. In this context, the term guardian takes on an entirely different meaning. Rather than Saudi Arabian authorities or Bedouin tribesmen, these guardians could be extraterrestrial or interdimensional beings tasked with protecting the secrets of the mountain. In a similar vein, some theories propose that the biblical depiction of Mount Sinai, with its divine manifestations and celestial phenomena, is evidence of ancient contact with extraterrestrial civilizations. They argue that humanity's ancestors interpreted these encounters within the framework of their religious and cultural understanding, leading to the biblical accounts we have today. These interpretations, while radical and controversial, stir the imagination and pose fascinating questions about the nature of our reality. They challenge us to reconsider our understanding of history, religion, and the potential for non-human influences on our development. In the end, whether one views Mount Sinai as a geographical location, a spiritual landmark, a dimensional portal, or a site of ancient alien contact, its significance remains undiminished. It continues to captivate our collective consciousness and inspire our quest for understanding. As this journey unfolds, we remain open to all possibilities, embracing the mystery and marvel of Mount Sinai. Each theory, each interpretation, serves to deepen our appreciation of this enigmatic mountain and the profound role it has played in human history. The exploration of Mount Sinai and its potential hidden secrets inevitably leads us to confront a multiplicity of unanswered questions and lingering mysteries. If the mountain's true location is concealed and guarded, who are these guardians? Are they earthly, as the Bedouins and Saudi Arabian authorities suggest, or do they represent something far more extraordinary, as the proponents of extraterrestrial theories propose? The evidence presented thus far is complex and sometimes contradictory, but it serves to illuminate the deep, intricate layers of the Mount Sinai narrative. The numerous theories that have surfaced, particularly those implying a hidden technological sophistication or non-human involvement, don't simply question conventional history, they upend it. It's a profoundly humbling exercise to consider that our past might not be as we've always perceived it to be. There could be a tapestry of truths, interwoven with our known history, waiting to be understood and appreciated. If any of these theories hold merit, they could redefine our understanding of human evolution, technological progress, and our place in the universe. Even as we grapple with these enigmas, we must also acknowledge the potential ramifications of unveiling the truth. If Mount Sinai's true location were to be unveiled, what would become of it? Would it remain a sacred site of religious devotion? Or would it transform into a hotspot for scientific investigation and tourism? How would it affect the millions of believers worldwide who anchor their faith in the narratives associated with this enigmatic mountain? As we delve deeper into the mysteries of Mount Sinai, we are drawn into a whirlpool of uncertainty where the boundaries between history, religion, and science blur. The mountain continues to hold fast to its secrets, silently challenging us to question, to seek, to wonder. Yet, in the face of these unsolved mysteries, one thing remains certain. Mount Sinai, in whatever form or location, continues to be a beacon of spiritual significance and historical intrigue. It stands as a testament to the enduring power of faith and the ceaseless human quest for truth and understanding. In the end, the quest for the real Mount Sinai is not just about a physical location. It's about the pursuit of knowledge and the courage to question the familiar and the accepted. It's about the possibility of a reality far more complex and fascinating than we've ever imagined. The enigma of Mount Sinai is a mirror reflecting back at us, challenging us to question everything we thought we knew about history. Thanks for listening. This has been another episode of Ancient Conspiracy Files. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to follow us wherever you listen to podcasts. And if you'd like to support the show, subscribe to the Forbidden Knowledge Network on Patreon. Subscribe now.